And we welcome you to the Canada Day edition of This is Wrestling. There is no better way to wake up on Canada Day, get your coffee, go to the patio, and Lever Sage and Zach McGibbon talking pro wrestling. Zach, how are you? Happy Canada Day, my friend.
Happy Canada Day, Lee. I don't think I've ever heard pro wrestling said that way. I've heard wrestling but I don't think I've heard wrestling before.
Pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling. I like it. But I'm looking forward to it. Yes, July 1st, it's here, Canada Day, and we're going to be talking some pro wrestling here on this Canada Day. It's our Canada Day gift to you.
It is. We'll talk some other stuff as well, just because I feel like it. And then we'll see here on OSN. And, if you're listening to this on the podcast, then this won't mean anything to you, but we're about an hour and a half away from NHL free agency. So if anything crazy happens, like, I don't know, a mid-tier defenseman getting the highest contract of all time in the history of the National Hockey League for a defenseman, like, we'll talk about it.
That's right.
And maybe we'll do something after as well. But we have so much to talk about on this Canada Day. We have not been on since Sunday night. I don't think I've recovered since Sunday night. AEW Forbidden Door going till 1 a.m. So we have all of the card to talk about. We do want to talk about a couple of Canada Day traditions, and we'll mix in the world of professional wrestling because there's a lot coming up in this country in the next 7-8 weeks in pro wrestling.
Yes.
Wrestling. Sorry about that.
Wrestling.
And I would be remiss if we didn't touch on, after giving somewhat of a glowing review, for us, a glowing review of a WWE show. It took them all of one show after that to, and I'm not going to swear on a Canada Day, Zach.
No, why would you?
There's no reason to.
Right.
But they really bleeped it up in their next show. And it's just, I wasn't even on the bandwagon yet, but at least I was sort of moving towards where it was going. But I don't know if I can. I can get behind Sami Zayn in his convertible with his title, singing and people recognizing him on the highway. I can get behind that. So excited about it. I do have one of my Will Ospreay shirts on. AEW Forbidden Door, 5 hours long. And I'm going to get to it right away as we come up. The month of July has hit us. There's so much in pro wrestling in the month of July, from getting ready for Redemption for AEW, which is in Montreal coming up on July 26th. WW Unreal comes out, and I know, Zach, watching these episodes and you doing particular reviews individually of every episode is something that warms my heart.
Oh, boy.
I know. I just look forward to it. July 21st. Like, I actually can't wait.
I know. Well, you know what I'm looking forward to in the realm of wrestling and episodic TV? Dark Side of the Ring is coming out pretty soon as well, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, just going to mention that. Dark Side of the Ring starts with a 3-parter on TNA Wrestling and Jeff Jarrett. So that will be fun. The other stuff we'll do, and to me, sometimes it can be really fun when it's so bad it's good.
Right. It's true.
And in the world of sports, as we mentioned, it's free agency. Canada and Morocco are going to play in the round of 16 in the World Cup, which is crazy. And Canada's got a real chance to win that game, I think. So there's just so many things going on. So 5 hours long. And I want to hit this episode running on the ground. So, like I'd like to do, Zach, sometimes we're going to start at the end.
All right.
There is so much around the match between Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. It's the main event. It doesn't get on till about 12:20 a.m. I don't like, I think some people feel differently about it because they had to sit through a very, very long show. Not that it wasn't a good show, but it was very long.
Yes.
And I've seen some, like, for me, the way I felt, I'm eager to hear what you felt about it, because the way I felt about it was a certain way. And I'm shocked at the division of some of the opinions on this match. But Will Ospreay defeats Swerve Strickland and moves on to the main event of All In at Wembley Stadium in England on August the 30th. Of course, AEW's biggest show. What did you think of Will Ospreay defeating Swerve Strickland?
The result itself, not in question for me. I had a feeling that Will Ospreay was going to win, and he was going to, book his ticket over to Wembley and All In. So that wasn't very much in doubt for me. Even throughout the match, while there was some good near falls, and we'll talk about the match in particular and what some of my thoughts on it were. Throughout it all, I'm thinking Will's going to be winning here, and we're going to be moving on, and we're going to be seeing Will Ospreay main event at All In. So the result very much wasn't in doubt for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Like, I think we all have believed that Will Ospreay is going to go on and be in that main event at Wembley Stadium. Growing up in Essex, just right near Wembley, talking about it from being a dream of his since he was a young kid. And they certainly, since Will Ospreay has come back, have geared towards this moment. So I don't really think that a lot of people truly believe that Swerve Strickland was going to win. But let's talk about the match and the ups and the downs and some of the ways that it went. Just overall, I saw some match of the year comments. I saw some, this wasn't nearly as good as what I expected, and then a lot in between. So how did you feel about this match, and where do you put it when it comes to other big wrestling matches over the last few years?
I thought this was a very good match. I don't know if I will go match of the year on it either. For me, it was definitely bordering on overindulgence, because there was a lot that they packed into this that I was like, okay, I think it worked against it in some ways, considering the time that this match was on and what people were kind of hoping for at the end. There were a couple of times during this match where I looked at it like, okay, this is the finish. This is how they're going to wrap it up. And this is how Will's going to win. And this is going to look really cool. And then Swerve would kick out. I'd be like, oh, that's not how it's going to wrap up. Well, how are they going to build them on top of themselves for this? And while it made sense at the end, the Death Riders coming out and cheering on Will, and Will finally hitting that Tiger Driver onto Swerve Strickland, that made sense to me. There were a couple of times beforehand where I'm like, I think the other stuff that they put in could have also been a really good finish, and you didn't have to do that other stuff. And that's why I felt it was very much bordering on overindulgent, because they were trying to make this an epic, and I respect that. And there were definitely in a lot of ways where it was epic. I thought the color that was in this match was insane, especially from Swerve.
So when Will Ospreay, bladed and got some color,
yeah,
it looked like almost he made a mistake and it went too far.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely covered. Like, it's gushing out. And if you had have asked me to bet my last $100 of my life, will Swerve Strickland bleed more than Will Ospreay? No chance. Well, that happened.
Yep.
That absolutely happened. Good. I will get this in as we are live here on Canada Day. And Rich says, happy Canada Day, boys. We'd love hearing from him. He's always involved now.
Yep.
About to throw the yearly "Oh Canada" by Classified song. Can't go a year without listening to it. Okay, I can, but good for you. Very patriotic. Started watching Forbidden Door 26 after Great American Bash last night. Should have skipped Great American Bash, but I kept hearing your voices in my head screaming in frustration. It was just too entertaining.
I was trying to tell you last show, you don't have to watch the NXT show. It's fine. You don't have to.
No, but what I love the fact that he's such a hardcore wrestling fan that he's going to watch everything.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that I could get through the Great American Bash and then go, you know what? I got 5 hours of Forbidden Door coming up after that.
Right.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. But I love how much like dedication and time that he puts into watching all of these shows to make sure that he knows all about it, which is
fair enough.
Which is awesome. So, yeah, I didn't think that Swerve could get nearly the color that Will got.
Yeah.
Was it too much for this match for both of them? Like as you're watching it from, hopefully a different point of view where people are tuning in and this is the match it's going to get Will Ospreay to the main event at All In. Was it too much color from both of them?
Not in my opinion. I felt it was it actually helped enhance it a lot for me in terms of oh my gosh, like how is this going to be like it increased my investment in the match for me.
Okay.
So it didn't take away from me. I know there are some people that are very bullish on that when it comes to blood. For me, it's one of those investment deals where you just want to be invested in the match. And that was something for me that I think it did.
Okay. So you mentioned it was a really, really good match. Before I tell you my thoughts on it, there was obviously something missing from the match for you to kind of put it at that very top level. What was that?
I think it was just the overindulgence. If I thought there were elements of it being a little too much. And both these guys have a tendency.
Well, what does that mean?
I mean, in the sense that they pack so much into this. And I watched this close to live. Because we did the Red Blacks post game show, and then I went right back into watching it. So I was a little bit behind on that. So when people finish at 1, I finish at like 1:30.
Okay.
So it certainly did impact. So my viewing experience could be different, but for me, I'm like, there was a lot of moments in the match where I felt like it could have ended there, and it would have been a perfectly capable finish. The big one for me was when they did the spot of Swerve's like face down on the mat, and Ospreay comes in and does the elbow to the back of the head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would be a perfect finish considering what they were trying to get from Will Ospreay, like trying to find that edge that he needs to go to that next level, what he was taught by the Death Riders. And it's a callback to his career where he had this meme or this viral moment where he was, doing something similar where he's doing back elbows to the guy's head. And they were like, oh, it's pro wrestling gone real, all this stuff. Right. It's like, oh, that's kind of a callback to that while also incorporating that into the Death Rider stuff. So I thought that was going to be the finish, but then it was the weird moment where the referee came in, is like, all right, stops. And I'm like, oh, he's stopping the match. He's like, no. Like, this is too much. And then he starts the count out. And I'm like, I've never seen the referee do this. And now he's doing this. And it just felt odd to me. So there was that. And
you know what? I was wondering where you're going with that, because I didn't think that should have been the ending, but you're absolutely bang on about the referee literally almost at the end of a match backing a guy up and then doing a count out with a guy in the ring. I've never seen that. When there's just two guys in the ring, he's like, no, you back off and I'm going to count. What?
Like I thought he was going to call the match at that point.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I for sure, I will give you that. That was really odd to me.
Yeah. And there was a lot of it reminded me in a lot of ways, like people really loved that second John Cena versus Cody Rhodes match at SummerSlam. But I had a lot of the same feelings from that match that I had with this, where I felt like it bordered into the overindulgence, where they were going a little bit too much. Like it became too video gamey for me, unrealistic. And that's where we're starting to get to for me nearing the end, where I thought it was trying to be too unbelievable and incredible and epic to the point where it was not believable. And a lot of the great Will Ospreay matches was able to find that line of being epic, but not so much so where you're like, this is totally like taking me out of the match. And so that's where it stands for me. I thought this was, again, a very good match. I wouldn't call this a match of the year contender. But I would say that there were moments in this match where I'm like, they could have cut some of this down and you would have still had the same impact. And I do think having all of that happen at 12:50 at night certainly impacted my enjoyment of the match.
And that's what I was going to say. The first thing for people, if I just took I think it was 35 minutes from bell to bell, but with the entrances is about 40 minutes. If I just took the 40 minutes and I separated it from everything else and had someone come in and, hey, what do you think of this match? And people come in fresh and they watch the match. Is it a different feeling than sitting through 4 hours and 20 minutes before that match? And honestly, quite a good card and quite a lot of amazing pro wrestling before that. Which is a really good thing, but does it take away 4 hours and 20 minutes in from another great pro wrestling match? Kind of. So here's what I've done, Zach.
All right.
I have to tell you, on Sunday, we did the Red Blacks, had some people over. Apparently, I think, spoiler here, apparently Jay White coming back is the biggest thing that's ever happened in the history of the world to a couple of, I was going to call them names, a couple of guys that were here that acted like the biggest thing ever happened. And when I went in to find out what happened after they interrupted our Red Black show, as I was watching the show, I was like, what's this? I was waiting for like, what's the thing that made them react so big? And then when Jay White came out, I'm like, oh, that's the thing that made them react so big. Like anyway, for those, and we're sort of talking in circles because if you didn't watch us on the Red Blacks, we were doing a post-game Red Blacks show in Montreal, and a couple of former friends of mine,
oh, jeez. Wow.
came in and got so excited in the next room that Zach and I both heard them. And then they came in and interrupted. Like, you're going to want to see Gary Bettman. You're going to want to hear this. Like, it was like the biggest thing that's ever happened. And I finally went back in after we finished the show. I'm like, okay, what? And they start and the spotlight's on the Bang Bang Gang. And I'm like, Ace, Austin, and Colton Gunn is why you brought me out here.
Yeah.
And then, okay, Jay White was in the ring. Awesome. I'm glad he's back.
Yep. Me too.
It's a nice return.
Yep.
It is not worth that reaction whatsoever. And
me hearing it on the other end of this call reaction, by the way, like I wasn't there. I was here, and Lee has the palatial estates. I have beautiful Belleville. I heard it all the way here in beautiful Belleville.
Right.
So it was unreal. So I remember hearing that and I was like, I mean, do you want to get into it now or do you want to finish up the Osprey?
No, I want to finish up the Osprey, but I'm just saying, like, that point, I was already, it was just late.
Yeah.
And so, okay. So what I did is they left at 1 a.m. And by the time I sort of cleaned up, because it was really nice that nobody helped me clean up at 1 a.m. But like, I'm just throwing everyone under the bus.
I was going to say,
I don't expect, they all had to get up. So, and they all had to drive home, which is,
that's the big thing.
Yeah, exactly. The Palatial Estates is not around the corner. So I'll give them some credit here. But anyway, didn't probably fall asleep until about 2. And 6:15 comes early, man. Like,
yeah, it does.
When you fall asleep at 2 and 6:15 comes early and you got to get up and go to work, and it's like, okay. So Monday I was just finished. Like, didn't have anything in me at all. But what I did is I went back and watched the match individually.
Okay.
Apart, like, again. So I've let you go on now We are almost 20 minutes into the show.
Yep.
It's been a relatively even keel show so far. That's probably about to change.
Oh boy.
Because you are out of your mind. This is the greatest wrestling match in the history of pro wrestling.
Whoa!
This is a match that you need to get your head around. People need to get their head around. What more do you want from a pro wrestling match? Oh, they wanted to give us too much. They were overindulgent. They wanted to, the story fit amazing. Incredible. Like a buckshot hidden blade.
That also wasn't the finish, and I thought would have been a good finish. But
okay, I agree it would have been a good finish, but can we all agree that he needed to hit the Tiger Driver to beat Swerve, who would not go down? The Tiger Driver, which they've told this story. He doesn't want to use it.
Yep.
And the Death Riders have got behind him and said, you need to be more. You need to be more. They gave him the armbar finish. He's training, but he still doesn't want to hit the Tiger Driver. But to get to the main event of All In against the most dangerous man in pro wrestling who will not go down, and he's 0-2 against him, he needed to use the Tiger Driver. Zach, this is storytelling at its best. This is everything you want in a pro wrestling match. They've told us for a long time that Will Ospreay is their guy. We've criticized the WWE, criticized, just get behind a guy. Tell us you're going to get behind a guy and push him to the moon. And that guy is Will Ospreay. He's the best wrestler in the world. I'm shocked at you right now. I am. I'm shocked. What more did you want? I asked you very calmly. And you're like, oh, I kind of wanted them to finish it before. What? What are you talking about?
There could have been some things they could have cut in that league.
Okay, look, there's no 40-minute wrestling match.
Yep.
Is going to be perfect.
Yep.
Did they cut away and put the camera on Jon Moxley as he's hitting the Tiger Driver? I'm like, what are you doing? And they kind of missed it. They caught the very end of it, but they kind of missed it. That's a massive mistake, but that's in production.
Yep.
That's not their fault. That's not Ospreay and Swerve's fault. They gave everything you'd ever want in a pro wrestling match. And it sucked for them that it was starting at 12:20 a.m. at night. And it sucked for them that there were some really, really great matches before that. And it was like a night of historic pro wrestling, but it was way too long. So there's some criticisms. I don't disagree. The counting in the middle of the ring when Ospreay looked like he was going to finish him off, I didn't understand.
Yep.
Totally get it. But when I go back and watch that match the second time, I just don't know what people want in a pro wrestling match more than this. They told all of the stories. They had unbelievable, again, every time I think they can do a Spanish fly perfectly, they outdo it the next time. Incredible. A buckshot hidden blade, come on. Some of the callbacks, and when he hit him, when Swerve hit him with, what's the kick called? The
last call.
Last call. And Ospreay perfectly. He didn't hulk up, but it's like, you're not going to hit me in the neck. I told you my neck is better. And it was almost getting up, telling the story that your finishing move, I'm stronger, I'm better. And he got back up and is like, not today, man. Everything about this match. The color for me, not too much. It was insane, but I didn't think for what they were trying to do and the lengths that they were trying to go to. Oh, the chemistry between these two. I'm so glad they put this in the main event. And I know it was at 12:20 at night, and I know it was after the cage, but it deserved to be the last thing that people saw. And it was better than the cage match, and it was better than anything else on the show. I'm not saying a lot of some good matches.
Yep.
I left that match, especially watching it the second time, going, I don't know what people want in pro wrestling after seeing that and saying that they want something else. They want more.
For the record, I didn't come here saying I wanted more of this or more of that and more of this. I'm like, we could have cut this. We could have cut this. We could have gone less. Right, of this.
But listen to what you're saying.
It's a little excessively. That's what I was thinking.
Got two great wrestlers giving you a match of the year candidate, and you're like, it should have been shorter. They probably tried too hard. Like, isn't that what we want? Can't we look to, the mistakes that they're going to make is that they overindulged and they went, like, they tried to do too much instead of 55 minutes on an entire show?
Well, you know what? I can appreciate it going the opposite end, but I don't know. I know I'm Safety Sam, but I do like myself a happy medium, So
Of course you do.
No, but I thought it was very good. I'm not coming on here.
I know.
Like, there are people that are coming up and saying this is a straight up bad match.
What match was better this year? What match was better this year?
Oh, I thought the Tanahashi Okada match at Wrestle Kingdom still is going to be locked into my favorite match this year. Still very much locked. The Takeshita match.
You said Tanahashi Okada?
No. What did I say? I thought I said Tanahashi Okada, but
you did say Tanahashi Okada.
Yeah, that match for me is probably still my favorite match of the year.
Did I not say this year?
Yeah, that was this year, January 4th.
Tanahashi?
Yes.
And Okada?
This year, yes.
Was better than that.
In terms of
storytelling, are you out of your mind?
Did you watch the match, Lee?
Yes.
I mean, so you thought... I've been watching New Japan as it's been seen on this show. I'm watching that. I had way more of an emotional connection to that match.
Too much after that take. You've been watching New Japan too much.
I'm not saying it's a bad match. I'm just saying it was a little too much. They could have cut some stuff. I know you love everything being thrown at you. I know that there was a storm going through. There was flashing lights. There was so much happening. But it's okay. Like, look, I'm not saying it's a bad match. I'm just saying they could have cut something down. I'm not going on here and saying there are some people out there that are saying this is a bad match, and those people are like crazy, okay? I acknowledge the callbacks. I acknowledge what they were going for. I'm not saying that they didn't execute.
They had the Death Riders come out, which I thought I asked you and everyone else before, will it ruin it? They came out, and at least they didn't ruin it.
Right? They just came out and they smacked the man like, come on, Will, come on, which was good.
Right. That's what I mean. They came out, but they didn't do anything. They just cheered them on.
Yes.
Oh, this match sucked. This match.
I know. Look, there's going to be people that's going to put this in their match of the year, and I'm not going to, go over. Lever Sage is going to be one of those people. Do I think it's the greatest match of all time, like Lever Sage said at the top? No, I don't. I think there's been a lot of better matches than this, actually. But
a lot
of better matches than this. In AEW, I think there's been a lot of better matches than this. I'm just saying, I think they went I think there was a little bit too much, and they could have cut some stuff to the point where I was like, all right, they're kind of losing me here. But look, it wasn't bad pro wrestling or anything like that. Again, in saying all of this is probably my favorite match of the show. Lee, you have this incredible ability where I'm like, this is my favorite match of the show.
And you have been like Debbie Downer here on the best match that maybe we've seen. And Zach, you watched it at 1:30 in the morning, and I get it. I wore you out on the Red Blacks post-game show. I get it on This Is OSN. I totally understand. But like, what I don't understand what you and everybody else want out of their pro wrestling matches that they didn't get in this match. That's where I'm actually confused. Like, okay, you didn't like that they went maybe too far and they overindulged.
Yep.
That's why I went back and watched it again, because I was really tired watching that. And I get that I kind of wanted it to end because it was 1 a.m. And I didn't want to feel that way because I was so excited about the match. And I did go back and rewatch it. And so as a separate entity, there were some faults with this match, but there's faults in every match. And I don't know from those two guys, like the faults for me were like the whole card going till 1 a.m. The cutting away on the Tiger Driver, which is like, you can't do that.
Yep.
It's the referee holding Ospreay back and counting out Swerve Strickland in the middle of the ring, which I've never seen before. But when I think about all the things that I didn't like about the match, none of them came back to Ospreay and Strickland. They came back to the length, they came back to the production, they came back to the referee, but they never came back to those two guys. I don't know how much more I could get out of a pro wrestling match that I would want to see more than this match. And that's why I'm placing it at the top, because I'm super worried now about, worried's the wrong word. I am concerned about the main event of All In not living up to what I saw here.
I think that's fair.
And that Ospreay, regardless of who he wrestles, and it's still up for question who he's going to wrestle. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I think he can get to that level, especially on that stage, but can somebody keep up with him at that point? If that's Kenny Omega, if that's MJF, I don't think it'll be Mark Briscoe.
No, it's not going to be Mark Briscoe. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Rich says, I want amazing wrestling and a slightly shorter pay-per-view. There's no getting around that this pay-per-view was way too long. And to that point, AEW, at least they haven't said they're going to shorten things, but they did say, which was very refreshing to me, that the AEW Redemption show in Montreal is going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern and not 8.
Thank God.
Like, at least we're sort of getting to the point of, even if it goes 4.5 hours, that's only 11:30 and not 1 a.m. Like, they need to cut like almost an hour off of what they did, and they need to start it an hour early. So we'll see. At least they're halfway there. And Rich says, video packages to show me what I've been missing since their show isn't on Netflix, which means I don't watch it. Well, that's a you problem, Rich. No, and seriously, that's a you problem. Like, you don't watch their TV because you choose not to watch their TV. There are ways to find their TV.
Yep.
You pay for Netflix. You decide not to pay for cable. Okay, that's your choice. But you can go and find their television on a number of different platforms. That's a you problem. You don't want to do it? Fine, but don't complain about it. And see, you know what? I'm starting to get a little bit
fired up, Lee.
I'm starting to get fired up because this match was so unbelievable, and they told the story, and they told the story on TV. And look, do they need to recap things for people who didn't see everything? 100%. But for Rich in particular, I have no sympathy, because Rich decides to pay for Netflix, decides not to pay for cable or like myaew.com, or even just to go find it on another platform. But then, because Rich doesn't want to do that, he wants everything recapped for him in a nice little bow, because because I don't watch that show, so I need it recapped. Well, watch the goddamn show, because it's brilliant. And AEW Dynamite is so much better than Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or any other program that's going on right now.
Yep.
It's the best wrestling television show we have. Correct?
I would agree.
Zach?
I would agree.
Okay. Holy cow.
You're fired up. We're only one match into the review.
We are only one match in. And I'm supposed to be at Happy Canada Day. Yeah. And look, our boy Tanner says, morning, gents. Happy Bret Hart Day.
There you go.
Disagree. I'm pretty much a stay-at-home dad, so my budget for streaming service is nil, and that's fine. You can find it on YouTube.
Yep.
Afterwards. Not
clips.
Not that night, but you can find like long clips.
Yep.
There are like recaps of the show that you can find all of this stuff. This isn't like a budget thing. Oh, you have to pay for this. That's not it at all. I totally understand that.
Yep. There are other ways. You're saying there are other ways you could stay on top of what's going on with the product that doesn't involve having to go and pay for the cable or whatever. So,
and that's a choice.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. I think that's totally fair.
And I wish we could put up, I sent you the 4.5 minute piece.
Yep.
Of Will Ospreay as a schoolboy, his dream. He was told he couldn't do it. It had all the cliches, but goosebumps.
That's right. Like The Rock, right? Like The Rock. Like the goosebumps.
No, from Triple H.
Oh, not from Triple H. Let me tell you.
Said that. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
No, it's not Triple H. More CM Punk. I'll do the CM Punk goosebumps.
So for me, I will finish this because we do need to get to other things. But I couldn't have asked for more of what I want in a pro wrestling match between two guys that I think are incredible, to tell a story, to see things we've never seen before, to be able to do things and push it to the next level. Do I wish it wasn't at the end of a 5-hour show? Yes. Would I have fixed a couple of little things within the match? Yes. But at the end, they did everything that we ask other companies to just do the right thing. Sometimes just doing the right thing, putting the guy over, having a great wrestling match, coming up with new things. It had all of it, and it had the emotion. I was worried about the interference. They didn't do that. So they did all the right things. These guys literally gave everything they possibly had, and I will be showing this to people as a separate entity, not like, hey, let's sit down and watch Forbidden Door. No, it's 5 hours. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to show this to people as a separate entity to get their take on it. For me, this might have been the peak where I didn't expect it to be the peak, but I don't know how for me it's going to get better. And I'm a big Will Ospreay guy. And Ospreay and Strickland are probably my favorite two guys in the company, which leads to how I'm feeling about this match. But the height of where they got to, I'm now worried that they're not going to be able to get back to that. And we're gonna point back to this match and go, and I saw Meltzer saying that there was more heat in the Bucks match than there was in this match when they were watching it live. And I'm like, okay, one match was at 8 and one match was at 12:20. I
was gonna say once opened the show and
yeah. Rich wants to know, Tanner, did you make sure to leave out a double and a Nanaimo bar on Canada Day Eve for Brett? Because nobody wants an upset Brett.
Especially Bill Goldberg.
I'm going to start doing that. I've never left out the Nanaimo bar and a double for Brett on June 30th. But
all of a sudden you hear coming from the chimney, I'm tired of Sean and I'm tired of Bill and I'm tired of Hunter. Tired of them all.
I found a new guy that does a parody for Brett, and he does Bret Hart with his wife, kind of asking him can you get ready? My parents are coming over, and he's sick of the grill being taken over, and he's sick of this, and he's dressed up like Bret Hart, and she wants him to change, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay. So Will Ospreay's going to the main event of All In at Wembley. Who will he face? And did we find out anything in the cage match before? We all wondered how 12 guys were going to get into the cage. Well, we found out, because as this started, and you'll have to remind me what the cage is called now? They called it something, which I thought was a really good name, and now I'm suddenly blanking on what the name of the cage was. But because it looks like they're going to keep the name through, like they're going to use the cage, and they're going to use, it's their version of like Hell in a Cell,
right?
Or so they're going to keep it. But I thought the circular structure of this cage around it was pretty cool. It gave the wrestlers room. It looked cool to me. It was a little something different than what we've seen previously in pro wrestling. So MJF's team of MJF and Okada, Fletcher, Andrade, Jake Doyle, and Kevin Knight went up against Mark Briscoe, Darby Allin, Konosuke Takeshita, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, and Kyle O'Reilly, with the stipulation that if Briscoe's team won, he would get a shot at the world title, and MJF wanting to keep Briscoe from getting that shot. I'm waiting, Zach. I feel like I said you're going to get it wrong. Have you turned around your prediction? Has this come full circle where you're the guy that's going to be able to predict everything and I'm going to get the obvious ones wrong?
God, I hope so.
Yeah. Because I did believe that MJF's team would win and we would not see Mark Briscoe get the shot. I did put the caveat, if you go back, I did put the caveat out there that it's possible that they could do it this way, but they would have to do it really soon. That Briscoe would have to get the shot like Wednesday. Well, guess what? Mark Briscoe's team did win, and Mark Briscoe has already said that he will take that shot on Wednesday. Floor is yours, Zach. You got it right.
And I stuck to my guns too. Lee came on. He's like, Zach, I'm giving you this opportunity to like change your mind. And things could be different and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, Lee, I'm sticking to my guns. Now it's classic me in the sense at the end, it's like, I'm probably going to lose this. I know how this all turns out. I'm probably going to lose this, but oh, well, I've made my prediction and I'm sticking to it. But in this case, I'm like, thank God. Thank God something went all Zach McGibbon's way. This is, I felt like Milhouse from The Simpsons sometimes, where finally everything's coming up Milhouse. In this case, yeah, I mean, to me, it made sense of if you wanted something short term and you wanted to get something for TV. And I know you were poo-pooing the idea. It's like, it's supposed to be a draw. I'm like, the draw wasn't the fact that it was Mark Briscoe. The draw was that it was a world title match on TV. That's what I was trying to strive for and look at here. And so they won. Do I talk about the match now here and how everybody will love it and I will despise it because it has all things I don't like because I don't like fun apparently, and I should just let go and just.
Hey, you need to brag about you got a big prediction, right?
Yep.
You need to stand up top of the mountain.
Yep. Do my Bo Dallas run around the ring, pointing at myself.
Like, you're back, baby. Now I know you're going to be like WWE. You're back for one night, and then you're going to screw it all up on the very next show. So I get that.
See, now that you made that comp, I'm going to try to go even harder to make sure I don't get that comp because that's like not a comp I want.
No, because that's what the WWE did, and we will get to that.
Yeah.
After they finally did something right. They're like, how can we screw this up? And they found a pretty good way to do that. So we'll talk about that in a moment. So so Mark Briscoe's team does win, and Briscoe gets the shot, and it will be on Wednesday on Dynamite against MJF. We did get the heel turn or the face turn from Andrade finally.
Yep.
Was not subtle about it when he took off his shirt, had the underneath shirt. That was
pretty straightforward, I would think.
Swearing at MJF, swearing at Don Callis.
Yeah. I can only imagine the production people when they have to put together the promo video for TV. She was like, damn it, gotta censor this shirt now. Did
you hear? Even on commentary, they're like, we're gonna have to try and get that out for Wednesday. Like,
I missed that.
That's probably can't. Yeah, Excalibur literally was like, we're gonna have to really do something about that before Wednesday because
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I missed that.
He literally said it on the air. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what we're all thinking. So it's good for you for saying it. Okay, so for me, and I'll let you go on this.
Yep.
For me, I thought there was some fun elements to it, but as a whole, this one, like you said, the other match, it went too far. They were overindulgent. They tried too hard. They gave too much. This one, for me, was like way over the top. Like, there were a couple of fun things, but I thought it was way over the top. I will, like, my positives from this match is that I thought they did a really good job showing sort of the action in the ring. It felt a little bit to me like, and stick with me on this comp.
Yep.
It felt like the Royal Rumble when the Royal Rumble gets to like 8, 9, 10 guys, but then the new guy comes in and the new guy's got to get his spots in because he's only got a minute to be able to showcase everything he has before we can't do this anymore. And then the next new guy comes in. I kind of felt like this match was, okay, everyone's going to have like 2 minutes to get their stuff in. And I thought they did a decent job at the rest of the guys staying away and not looking like they were just sitting there waiting, I guess because of the angles and the cage and everything else, that it was a lot of one-on-one action for a 12-man tag team match where guys were getting their stuff in. And there was a couple of points as we were all watching it and people going, like, I literally forgot Takeshita was in this match. Or I forgot that, Jake Doyle was in this match or whoever it was, because
I legitimately forgot at one point Kevin Knight was in this match. Like, he's in this match.
Yeah, and he comes back and you're like, I haven't seen him for 10 minutes.
Right.
Like, what has he been doing? But I thought they did a decent job at not making them look like they weren't doing anything. They were just focused on the people that were actually in the ring. And so, but there were a couple times I'm like, I totally forgot this guy was in the match.
Right. Yes.
And so I thought that was good. I like some of the detail. Like one of my favorite spots that, you either really liked or you really didn't was the Nintendo coming out of the backpack, the old school NES. Now they didn't do, and they could have said it at the time, but I didn't hear them say it, that the controllers were wrapped in barbed wire. I had no idea until like way after that this Nintendo had barbed wire around it.
Oh.
And did you know the little detail that, do you know what cartridge that they put in?
No, I'll let you explain. Yes.
Well, back, because I'm old enough to have done this. Okay. And I know you're not old enough to have done this. First of all, when I got Nintendo for the first time, and that's all we did, we had Duck Hunt. We had Contra, some of these other like Excite Bike, some of these games that were just so vivid for me, like as a kid. But every single solitary time, you had to blow on the cartridge.
Oh yeah. I know the blowing on the cartridge deal.
But they had the pro wrestling game.
Oh, really?
And
there you go.
They put the pro wrestling game as Kyle O'Reilly is blowing on the cartridge to put it in the Nintendo. I'm like, oh, guys.
Okay, that's smart.
This is fantastic. And also, as or more fantastic is our guy, Angelo.
Yeah.
Even though it's a wrestling show, you don't expect Angelo's getting ready for whatever. I was going to say, I don't want to swear.
Yeah, okay? No, this is Canada Day.
I know. I'll just say whatever dumb crap is going to come at noon with NHL teams that are going to overpay for somebody.
Yep.
That's where Angelo's time, soccer and hockey in Ottawa. But it says Happy Canada Day, Lee and Zach, 2 Canadian treasures.
Oh, appreciate that, Angelo.
I was at Angelo's, I think I mentioned on one of the other shows, before my trivia rant and coming home to fix stuff at the brewery rant, at Angelo's retirement. party, who he decided to have the retirement party the same day as England playing a World Cup game at the Heart and Crown.
Yes.
I still, England got in the way and booked their game apparently after Angelo booked it, which I'm sure happened. But incredible career. And the great news is Angelo's going to have way more time, Zach, more time to join us on OSN and This Is Wrestling and call us Canadian Treasures more. That's because he's now retired.
That's right.
We're looking for something to do, but congratulations, Angelo. We are very, very proud and happy to be able to call you a friend of ours. Back to the match, putting the pro wrestling into the Nintendo and blowing on it. And that for me, that was pretty cool. But 12 guys, Zach, got to get your stuff in. This was a lot, and too much for me.
Yeah, well, it became 13 guys at one point after another one of the spots. Lee, I'm a fun guy, Lee. You know me. I'm a fun guy. I like having fun as much as the next person. Okay? I'm a big fun guy.
I don't know as much. I wouldn't say as much as the next guy. I don't know about that, but okay. You do take some fun out of things, like the main event of Forbidden Door. But okay.
Well, no. Look, sometimes you gotta look at it from a rational point of view and whatnot. But I was willing to let the Nintendo spot slide. I saw it. I was like, we're doing an NES spot in the year of our Lord 2026. Lee, the NES came out in 1986, I think, so it's 40 years old.
Yeah, I was like 10, 11. Yeah. Right in my wheelhouse.
So I saw the NES. So I was like, fine. All right. I'll let it slide. Them opening the backpack and Willow Nightingale leaving the thing of oranges. Like we're going to a soccer practice. We talked about soccer earlier, going to his kid's soccer practice. And then squeezing the orange over the blood. I was like, oh, that's a spot I wouldn't say yes to, but okay. That's
right. That's fun.
I was like, you know what? That spot, I was like, okay, at least it made sense. Fun's strong, but it's the spot. So there's that. It really lost me, Lee, when they pulled out the hockey bag and they opened the bag and out comes the 13th person that we didn't know was coming out. And Leo Rush was in that bag, doing his best Gollum impression from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And in fact, they did something of that kin with MJF and the Dynamite Diamond Ring. The fact that he didn't say, I didn't recall him saying my precious at some point. I'm like, the opportunity's right there. Like it's right there. We all know what the comp is here.
But they said that.
Did they say that? I must have missed
it. They said that twice. Yeah.
I must have missed it when I had my hands over my face and be like, what have I done with myself to be at this point watching this at 12 at night?
They did say it because a bunch of geeks here watching with me. They all knew it right away.
Yeah, Leo Rush comes out and he's taking everybody out, and Kyle O'Reilly's thing. He does wacky faces like, I'm wacky. I'm so you're trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Kyle. Like, you can't be the funny guy.
That's fun, Kyle. Yeah.
I don't need fun, Kyle. How about ass kicker, Kyle? That was your best, Kyle. So Leo Rush, he takes everybody out. The only kind of thing I've enjoyed of that was when they're put him back in the bag and they zipped him up. And I was like, okay, I liked it. I liked it because, well, number one, he was gone from the match. But number two, okay, I see the comedy element in this, but
But Zach, he knows.
Yeah, knows what? Knows what? What does he know? So he takes everybody out, and Lee, it's getting over. That's the worst part about this is that these AEW fans, they love to wag their finger at the WWE and be like, oh, I would never stoop to such lows that the WWE offers. But this Leo Rush stuff, they're like, no, guys, you don't understand. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have fun here. The same arguments that the WWE fans do, and that I have to I thought we didn't like this stuff. I thought the whole point we were anti-WWE is we didn't like this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've nothing but consistently. I've been nothing but consistent on this show. No matter which company does it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. So I didn't like this. I don't like this character. I don't like I'm creepy. Ooh, I say weird stuff in weird voices. I just want Leo Rush to wrestle. And people were like, well, he wasn't getting on the card. Well, then maybe that's on him. I don't know. Like, maybe he's just not as good as we think he is. That's okay.
All right. He's good. I don't.
There are people, Lee, including pretty big pundits that like this gimmick. So it's getting over, Lee. So we're going to have to endure more of this. So there's that spot. And then the spot where they're up on the top of the cage, it's Kevin Knight and Darby Allin. And Kevin Knight's got the backpack. And then the backpack explodes. And they're like, oh, they booby trapped the backpack. And there were sparks that came out. And Lee, when I saw that, when the first comp that comes to mind was that Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose Hell in a Cell match, where Dean's got the TV and he like pulls it and then it sparks and it explodes. And that's how he loses the match. When that's the comp I think of, that's not good. That's not good. So somehow, I guess there was some sort of electrical booby trap in the backpack and it exploded. And so Kevin Knight fell off the top of the cage through the tables.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm out. They lost me. Like, I didn't mind some elements of this because Lee, I've lost. I can't fight these people on. This is goofy. Like, what are we doing? Like, this should be something else. I've lost that fight. I'm not going to go into that battle anymore. So I'm done that battle.
The only thing I will say, and look, I am with you. I will make it very clear. I didn't love this match. I thought it was really goofy.
Yeah.
But at least the argument can be made that the rest of this card was anything but goofy.
Agreed.
Right? So it's their one time to give a little bit of relief from, and I don't want to classify it because I really liked a lot of this card, but
me too.
It was a lot of the same pro wrestling. Like a lot of pro wrestling happened. And this was their one placement of something that wasn't completely pro wrestling before they went back into a long main event that was pro wrestling. So it was almost this, I don't want to say intermission, but something different, something to relieve the kind of, if all you wanted was pro wrestling, you got it, and you needed something to give you a bit of a mental break before you got to the main event.
Yep.
At least that's what they were trying to do.
I could totally see that argument. I could totally see that argument too.
But as a separate entity, when I go back and show people the Swerve Ospreay, I will not be showing them this match.
Yeah, they'll go like, oh, look, that's a cage match. How's the no, that's fine. It's not what you think it's gonna be.
Right.
It's not what you like. I saw the cage initially, and it reminded me of Ben Sublier will appreciate this reference, but it reminded me of the ROH versus CZW cage when they face off, because that was also circular. It's like, okay, I think that was supposed to be Cage of Death or whatever that CZW does, where it's just the ultra violent cage match. But so that's what it kind of reminded me of, is that CZW cage, just without the glass and the barbed wire and the explosions that would come with a CZW match. But I was watching this. I'm not gonna lie, Lee. I was looking at this and I was like, I'm prepared to come on here and be told I'm the not fun guy and like you got to have more fun in your pro wrestling and blah blah blah. But apparently we are on the same page on this one, so I feel a little bit better.
Like
I was ready to be coming on here with my arms crossed, be like, no, this isn't Kawada Mishawa, like making that cop, But I'm glad we're on the same side on this one.
Was it called Death's Door?
Maybe. I've been trying to find it because I didn't catch it on commentary.
I think it was called Death's Door.
Fair enough.
However, there wasn't much, and this is another match that you have to really suspend your belief, because these are some of the best wrestlers in the world. Like Kyle Fletcher took the big spot from Takeshita through the table.
Yep.
But like, other than that, what did Kyle Fletcher even do in this match? He was just gone for a lot of it. And it's like, even MJF. Now MJF's hurt. He got the knee totally wrapped up. It was being mentioned to me over and over and over again about, not taking any bumps, and they're trying to save him because he's not 100%. But when you watch Kyle Fletcher go 25 minutes and go, yeah, that's the next guy in this business, and then he wrestles in a match like this, and like he's just lying on the outside for 12 minutes because he can't recover because it's not his time to get back in the ring. I don't love that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they put over Jake Doyle as the MVP, like on commentary, to the point where you're like, yeah, I haven't seen Jake Doyle do anything but maybe break up a couple of pinfalls that look like they were gonna.
Right.
And like the definite MVP, like they were trying to put Jake Doyle over way more. Like he is the MVP of this match. I'm like, he couldn't be less the MVP of this match.
Trust me, I want to come on here because I'm a big Jake Doyle guy and tell you he was, but I if I'm being honest, I don't know who would be the MVP. Leo Rush would have more of a case to be MVP than Jake Doyle would be.
Yeah, there wasn't much. So it does lead though to Wednesday night, Mark Briscoe, MJF, and he wants his shot. They are going to get their world title match coming up as we sit here, Zach, on a Wednesday.
Yep, that's right.
What do you think happens tonight?
I think MJF retains, but I think they have to start getting a clear picture of what that title picture is going to look like at Wembley pretty soon here. So I would hope there's some sort of angle where I'm sure we're going to get another one of those somewhat related to that, but Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay backstage in the trainer's room talking about the updates in their mission. Like we'll talk about that with the Omega match earlier, but yes.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. And this is why we're live too. Something has just happened downstairs I need to take care of. So,
okay.
For like, how about you pick a match? Tell me the match you want to talk about, and then I'll ask you a really, really great question about it, and then you can talk for a second.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I want to talk about Mercedes Moné Maya World because I might have a unique take on it. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of buzz around this match. Mercedes Moné and Maya World for the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Crown, and to be able to go to All In and challenge for the world title. Mercedes Moné and Maya World. Zach, tell me from beginning to end what you thought of this match.
Sure, I will do that, and I'll let you tend to what's going on over at the Palatial Estates. Hello, everybody. Hello, chat. I will take over here. But yes, Maya World, Mercedes Moné. There's been a lot of buzz about this match. Some people, if you ask some people, this was the best match on the show. The way that it all came together, especially that finishing sequence. There's been a lot of buzz about Maya World's performance, about Mercedes Moné's performance in this matchup. So taking you through, there's a lot that happened here in the case that Maya World, it seemed like in terms of her gear started to fall off. Had the wig kind of fallen off. The parts of her gear were kind of falling off. But as the match progressed, it started to kind of figure itself out a little bit more. And there's a lot of people, again, that have viewed this as their match of the night. So I will say this when it comes to the Mercedes Moné Maya World match. I thought this was an incredible carry job by Mercedes Moné. Now, when I say carry job, I don't mean that in negative context of, Maya World was awful and she's not a good wrestler, trying to get her staying at that certain level. What I'm saying about this is that I think that they were able to, in the case of Mercedes Moné, take that to the next level and make that being in that closing stretch, getting the crowd involved, getting the fans invested with what's going on in the match. I thought that Mercedes Moné, in terms of carrying her opponent and taking her to that next level, and having her follow through, because I will say this when it comes to Maya World, people were saying this is kind of the performance of a lifetime for her. I thought she showed some struggles here. I thought there were definitely moments in this match where it showed that she was not at that ability to be able to get to that next stage. A lot of people really crediting both of these people, but as Lee Versage joins us back, I was saying, in my view, I thought this was an incredible. Sorry,
that's a pro. Like the fact that you can just keep going and that's a pro. What happened that downstairs quickly was, I live in a house with no AC, so
the AC go.
No, I live in a house with no AC. Like I don't have AC.
Oh, right.
But, so the dehumidifier needs to be going. at this point to keep things cool.
Oh yes.
I heard some bad noise and it did start leaking downstairs.
Oh boy.
So just a quick, like, hey, that's not a great sound. I need to go and.
Well, there you go.
Oh, we're back. The dehumidifier are running. Yeah, and it's not leaking anymore.
That's good.
Towels are down, so we're good.
That's perfect. It's good too, because like I was going in there, I'm looking in the chat, and Tanner's booing me. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, just trying to razz me, throw me off. But I wasn't thrown off, Lee. I was still talking.
No, you're a pro, man. You are an absolute pro. And I will. Tanner says felt bad for Maya that her gear imploded early on.
Yeah. Yes. So I was just saying that I felt this was. I thought a lot of people were really high in this match. I saw some people saying this was their favorite match of the show.
Yeah.
So I said that what I took away was this was an incredible carry job by Mercedes Moné. And I don't mean that as a negative thing, because sometimes when you hear carry job, it's like, oh, like try to drag her to a competent match. I mean more that I think at the end, the fact that they were able to get this crowd invested and Mercedes Moné, there was a lot of points with Maya World where, as Tanner mentioned, the gear was kind of falling apart and a lot of stuff didn't look very crisp or very smooth with her. Yeah. I thought there was a lot of moments of this match where I felt like the spotlight was bigger than where Maya World is at currently, but you could see the potential that's there, right? And the fact that Mercedes was able to get to that next level, get the crowd invested and getting people buying into the near falls, like, to me, I thought this was one of the best, maybe the best singular performance of a pro wrestler on this show in terms of the circumstances, in terms of their opponents, and taking that wrestler to the next level.
Let me ask you about, so Maya World's gear came apart early in this match. I felt really bad for her. I mean, this is a 23-year-old girl, and they were going on about, like, this is clearly the biggest spot she's been in ever in her wrestling career, and that she's got to level up to it. And her gear breaks, which is just a nightmare.
And her weave or her wig or whatever was coming off too. Like, it was.
Yeah, it was a nightmare for her. So I felt bad. To your point that you just carried the last couple of minutes, I think it's a nice time to talk about this, that when she needed, like, multiple times to try to get her gear somewhat back, Mercedes Moné did everything and more, took the spotlight, didn't embarrass her, did some things around the ring, went sort of around into the crowd, went over to the title and the championship of the Owen Hart to, like, take pictures of it so they could get the camera off of Maya World so she could have a chance to try to get back and get her gear back so she wasn't worried about it the entire match. It never really happened because I don't know if it, like, completely broke.
Mm-hmm.
And look, this sucks, but for any wrestler, but especially a woman, and especially one who's 23 in the biggest spot of her life, like, at some point, good for her that she was like, yeah, I'm just not going to care about it. But it looked like things were popping out at any time. Like, she was down to the not very much. And it'd be like literally it would be like, you know, a wrestler going in there and their tights breaking and they only wear tights. And it's like they have something really small underneath, but like that, it's not a good look. So do you think that all impacted Maya World not getting to that next level? When you say the spotlight was too much, do you think that particular thing that happened to her didn't allow her to get there?
I do. I think it was clearly impacting her. But having said all that, though, like, you could tell Mercedes was trying to take this to the next level, and the way she was bumping, the way that they were transitioning into moves and callbacks to previous matches as well. Because one of the things they were putting over is that, and it's hard to believe this, Lee, because I remember watching this match, but they're like, Maya World looked up to Mercedes Moné and, like, looks at her as an idol. And I'm like, oh my God, are we at this stage where, like, you know, Mercedes Moné is the best and people are coming up through the business looking at Mercedes Moné as an idol?
Absolutely are. 100%.
I know. I know we are, but it really came when I was watching, like, oh my God, we really are at that stage.
Yeah. Zach's getting old.
Yeah, I'm getting closer to 30
for a long time, Zach. In fact, it really sucks when I have other people coming along for OSN, looking up to you. And it's like,
really?
It's like, oh my God, like
Zach bad.
Zach just got here, like he's so young. Like, come on, man. Right. But no, we've got to that point.
Yeah, actually, recently I just got to my 4-year anniversary here in Belleville, my 4-year work anniversary. So I've been here in Belleville the same amount of time I've been in.
Wow.
I was at the previous employer, Lee. Doesn't ring a bell.
Right.
But nonetheless,
that's a nice pun.
Thank you. I was waiting to see if that would ring.
Did you mean for that too? Okay.
I will say yes.
Previous employer. It doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But yeah, no, I think it did impact her because you could tell like it's a big spot. This is the biggest match of her career, right? Yeah. And you're having this happen to you, and you're like 23, like still getting better in the ring. I think it did have an impact on her because I thought it was clear who was the better wrestler of the two in this match.
Oh yeah.
Now
it should be.
Yeah. But it came more abundantly clear, if that makes any sense. I thought Mercedes Moné was very much like the singular best performer of the night, just be able to get what she was able to get out of this.
She had
to the point where people are to the point where people are saying, Maya World likes a future star. And I don't disagree for the record, but I don't think it was because of the individual performance of Maya World. I thought it was because she listened to Mercedes Moné and said, all right, we're going to do this and I'm going to get through this. And they have somebody there, I think, in Maya World that they could continue to work on in terms of her development. And I saw some people trying to make the argument that Maya World should have won. I disagree. I thought it was pretty clear to me that she needs some more time. I will say though, that finishing stretch, like there were some near falls in this. Like, oh my God, like this is really strong. I thought this was a very strong match in the end, but mainly because Mercedes Moné was taking Maya World through this match.
Yeah. So this was a couple of things. Number one, the biggest draw they have by far in the women's division, by far, is Tekla and Mercedes Moné at All In.
Right.
So should Maya World have won? Not a chance in the world. But this is an example of what leadership is. And this is why Mercedes Moné possibly is the best women's wrestler in the world, period. Because she was in a circumstance with a relative newcomer, and I understand Maya World's an up and coming, could be a star, but a relative newcomer who had something really bad happen to her early on in a big spot. And Mercedes Moné took her to another level where people were so behind Maya World to try and maybe she could possibly win this match. The crowd was super invested, and this was all done through Mercedes Moné leading every step of the way, calling the match, as you said, having things happen, getting to that next level. You're like, this is a star. Like, I know people were very happy about Maya World, but could Maya World go in there tonight on Dynamite and lead, I don't know, like Julia Hart or Sky Blue or like another wrestler that is still coming along? Could Maya World lead them to a great match? Probably not.
Not at this stage, no.
Right. And that's the difference, is that Mercedes Moné carried this entire match. And good that Maya World got through it and did some really good stuff, even though she had a wardrobe problem and she did have the deck stacked against her, and to be able to get through that, but she got through it because of Mercedes Moné. So
yep.
I totally agree with you. Definitely the best individual performance of the night from Mercedes Moné, but this was not in one of those incredible matches where like it's the best match of the night. It wasn't close to the best match of the night.
I didn't think so either.
And that's not, it was a good match, but there were some other matches that were better. But Mercedes Moné's individual performance as a leader was on display.
Yep. And I will say this too. I think looking at the reaction to this match and how people are responding to Maya World, in a weird way, this could be one of the best things that's happened to her. In the case of like the wardrobe malfunction coming in, and then having this match with Mercedes Moné, because a lot of people got really invested in Maya World at that point, right?
Did they ever?
And to the point where now I think people want to see more of her on TV and want to see her grow and be a better wrestler. Like I do think there's potential there with Maya World. Absolutely. I think she could be something. And she's 23. There's still plenty of years that I think she's at this stage of her career, compared to like a Sky Blue or a Julia Hart that we mentioned earlier. I think she's much more advanced than those two wrestlers are. But there's still more to go when it comes to her development, and that's going to take time. And look, I've been somebody that's been on the show saying, if you find somebody, push somebody. I think in her case, there are certain wrestlers that you have to look at. When I look at WWE and how they push their wrestlers, they've just have so much guys that are over 40 on their main space. It's like, that's why I rush a little bit with their guys, is like, let's find somebody and let's go, because you don't have much time left with these older folks.
Right.
And you need somebody that can carry over this next gen. In the case of AEW, I think they have the talent right now where you could go underneath and take your time with somebody like a Kevin Knight or a Maya World or somebody like that, or Kyle Fletcher. I think they should go quicker with Kyle Fletcher, but you know what I mean? Whereas like they can take that time because they have the younger main event scene that they can work off of.
And they need to take the time because, quite frankly, Kevin Knight is really good, but he's not a finished product. There's things that he gets in the ring and I'm like, man, there's still some work to do here. But the base is there for Kevin Knight to get bigger. The base is there for some of those other wrestlers that you talk about. So, yeah, you still need to put the work in. You still need to get there. Do they have potential? Yes, but I'm with you that you don't rush those people. You don't have to get Maya World to the very, very top at 23 years old.
Right.
Speaking of older wrestlers, Cope and Cage.
Yes.
Wrestled the Dogs. We talked a little bit about the Jay White coming back. I know he attacked David Finlay, and I know that David Finlay left him laying the last time that they saw each other. But Zach, I get a little confused sometimes. Like, wouldn't the Bang Bang Gang with Jay White back want to go after the tag team titles and just like handing them to Cope and Cage back and kind of being friends with them was a little odd to me, but I did enjoy the, it's nice to see Jay White back. It was overreacted here at the Palatial Estates, but it was nice to see him back. But that was the whole story of this match, and that Cope and Cage retained.
Yeah, in terms of the match itself, it was the weakest one. It wasn't bad or anything like that. I think it was perfectly cromulent pro wrestling. But it was something that I think you could put on Dynamite, on a high level Dynamite, and you'd be all right with. This was all just to kind of prepare for the return of Jay White, which now we know was the streaking we heard on the Red Blacks post-game show, which you can now tune into right here on This Is OSN.
That's right.
I mean, I guess I could be that guy to Ben and just be like, well, the way that they did this return, I guess the Bang Bang Gang are in cahoots with the AEW production team, because they said, guys, kill out our lights. We need to pose at the entrance, right? Like, it's one of those, we have to wait for this perfect part of the match in order to finally do our run-in and get somebody involved in the match. So the lights go out, and then Bang Bang Gang, they do their little pose. Shockingly, no many men from 50 Cent as part of the entrance to this. That would have been funny. But they do their little pose, and that was kind of the tease of, oh my gosh, Jay White's about to come back here. They do the old spin around of the gang. I'm like, oh my God, Juice Robinson is going to come in and get involved in this match. Whoa, right? Like, that's not what was going to be. And then the lights went out again, and then it came back on. You heard the swing coming from Jay White, and then Jay White's in the ring and does the Blade Runner. Is like, I I like Jay White. I not enough to wake up everybody in the house here.
Right.
Jay White reaction, but yeah, he's back. I think that's good for depth. We've been saying on the show he probably should be utilized higher, considering how his push was in New Japan. And I'm of the belief that if you could get over in Japan, you could get over anywhere. Especially if you're a gaijin, a foreigner, over there. So so hopefully this is part of a renewed focus, renewed push for Jay White. But in terms of the match itself, nothing really to write home about for me.
I didn't love Tony Khan in the press conference saying that Juice Robinson had done a really, really good job at like maintaining the momentum of the Bang Bang Gang while Jay White was gone. I'm like, I couldn't care less about the Bang Bang Gang with Ace Austin and Colton Gunn and Juice Robinson. In fact, I think he's done a terrible job.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's Tony Khan just putting his own guys over. Yeah, I hope. I mean, you'll get some tag team shenanigans coming up in the next little while. Hopefully, it ends with a David Finlay, Jay White, like really good match, and then Jay White gets on to bigger things. I don't know what's left of Clark Connors. I don't know what's left of Colton Gunn, and I quite frankly don't care.
You're not sitting back and putting your finger and your thumb on your chin being like, God, what are the Guns going to do? Is Billy going to be back with the Guns? Are we going to get Billy Gunn? Hopefully Jay White doesn't Billy Gunn his run. So
I do want to talk a little bit about the match that I probably had the least expectation coming in, and that was the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship between Shota Umino and Pac. I just thought that this would be another decent, not really memorable wrestling match that Umino was going to win because Pac's not winning the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship.
No.
This was a fantastic pro wrestling match.
Yep.
This one was, they're going to show out, and on a lot of other matches, like we haven't even got to Moxley Bandito, we haven't got to Omega Zack Sabre Jr., but this Umino Pac match, Zach, for absolutely no build whatsoever, just Pac coming out and arms crossed and challenging Umino to a match. I thought this was outstanding. And you got your Tanahashi at the end of it.
Oh boy, has Tanahashi been enjoying retirement, Lee? You could tell he's walking out, and good for him. He got the haircut, and I would do the same thing, Lee.
He has been enjoying, but they did a nice Tanahashi tribute afterwards, and he came out and put Umino over. But man, oh man, Zach, this match was so good, just from a technical wrestling, like what I want in a wrestling match that doesn't have a big build to it. This was fantastic.
This is the best I've seen Shooter in a while. Shooter's so inconsistent, man. Like whenever he's a very frustrating wrestler, because I've seen him main event against Zack Sabre Jr. and just completely crap the bed. And like, man, and then you watch this with Pac and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is why they want to have him be their next guy, but he can be so inconsistent. What do you think was the spot that got me popping and being like, yeah, this is what I'm looking for? What do you think of this match was the spot that got me going, hell yeah?
Oh, okay. Man, there's a lot. What was it?
Lee, it was when Pac got Shota Umino up on his shoulders and throws him over the ropes into the table to the outside. Mike Awesome style to Masato Tanaka.
Yeah, Mike Awesome, Masato Tanaka. How can I jumped up. I'm like, Zach's going to be so happy.
I was like, awesome bomb. Yes. Like I was like, hell yeah, man. And Umino took that table bump hard. Like he came in and bounced a little bit.
Tanner's on the table because Tanner's not old enough to remember Mike Awesome and
that's right,
Tanaka. But yes, it was so, and it was a bit awkward. They didn't do it, like Pac didn't get him up quite as high as like Mike Awesome did Tanaka, but yeah, that was a full callback.
Yeah.
Tanner, I'm going to take it face value when you're asking who. I'm going to answer you. So Mike Awesome, and no, I know
Mike
you're
Awesome was an ECW world champion. Masato Tanaka was an FMW, and he had a famous rivalry with Mike Awesome.
See, Tanner's trying to be sarcastic, but he's actually asking.
Yeah, no, we know. And look, Tanner, we'll help fill you in. We know that, you know, John Cena is kind of the bar, right? So we're gonna try and help you get past that, and we'll help you a lot there, Tanner. It's all good.
Anyway, you're right. I don't know why I blanked out, but that spot was like, literally, I went, Zach's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I saw that spot. I was like, oh yeah, let's go. I was not expecting the Tanaka Awesome spot in this match, so I loved it.
Tanner says Mike the Miz Zanian is awesome. You know what? I can't disagree. There's two things there. Mike is awesome. So is the Miz.
No, well, one's more awesome than the other, I would say. And it is not Mike Mizanin, I would say that.
I think if you watch this match, though, at the end, and you didn't really know if there was a story or like who could win, there was a couple very believable moments that Pac was going to beat him.
Yep.
At the end. And then, you know, Umino comes back and ends up beating him. We get Tanahashi coming out for something I didn't have a lot of expectation with. Like, it's going to be okay, but it's not going to be like, I came away from the night going, man, this was a really great. I'm going to remember this match, and I never thought I would.
Yep. No, it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Tekla and Starlight Kid. I'm very interested in what your take is on this match.
I thought Tekla rocked in this. I'm
every time I see her, man, like she's so much better.
She's awesome. I love me some Tekla. I thought the authority figure for Stardom, I thought was like a good funny, because like you could tell like he's trying to sell his character and being afraid of Tekla. And I thought he sold it so well, because he seems like a feeble authority owner that's just getting beaten up by Tekla. And like whenever they would go to the corner, his facial reactions, I just keep thinking of his facial reactions throughout the match. I'm like, it's so funny.
So you thought that was good?
I thought it was funny. I don't know if it was good.
All right.
But it was funny. Like he's looking, he's like, oh no, I don't want to, like, don't even look. It was hilarious to me.
But Tekla, in saying that though, like just a quick comment on, you know, for me, I didn't know what they were going to accomplish. Like if Tekla was just going to beat her, how would they make Stardom look? What would they do? And of course, the guy's name's Okada. So like when you say Okada, you're like, oh, it's the other Okada. It's the owner of Stardom, who's not quite as strong as Kazuchika Okada.
But definitely the way he was selling in this match, that's for sure.
In any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I just didn't think it made Stardom look very good. And I didn't know what the angle was going to be at the end. Like I didn't know how they were going to involve the president that fired Tekla. Are they still going somewhere with her?
That's what I took away.
And Stardom, like, are they? I don't know.
I took away that she's going to go back to Japan at some point again. But that's what I took away from this match. Starlight Kid, I thought looked really good. I don't watch much Stardom, so a lot of it is kind of new to me. It's funny. They were like, Starlight Kid's a vet. She's only a year older than Maya World, but she has been wrestling since she's 14. So she's a 10-year vet. Mm-hmm. So it's like Japan, man, sometimes it can be very different there than it would be over here. I thought Starlight Kid looked really good, but man, like I came away from it as like Tekla continues to be one of my favorites on this roster. And her like taking the mask off of Starlight Kid, which I wasn't expecting, and then her just spitting in the mask and then throwing it back at Okada was very. I was like, wow. I was like you, Lee. I was like, man, I thought Stardom would get a little bit more.
Right. It's like I don't think it makes them look great going back there. Going
no.
Yeah, but I just ripped up our whole, like our president and our best wrestler, and unmasked her and left the president laying. And like, what did Stardom get out of this?
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is that Like, to me, I still felt like they're going to do something with Tekla and Stardom, and they're like, oh, this story's going to continue in Stardom, similar to what happened with MJF and Mystico, where you had the initial match on Dynamite, and they were going to do the rematch in CMLL. That's a different level, obviously, but kind of that same idea. So that's what I thought that they were going to go for here. I thought there would be a little bit more shine though for Stardom. I guess they were hoping that Starlight Kid would have like totally turned heads for people. Where like, oh, I got to see more of the Starlight Kid, and then they go into the Stardom rosters like, oh, there's all these wrestlers like Saray's over there. But I don't think that was the case.
Yeah, neither do I. Did you see the press conference with Tekla?
I saw bits of it. I saw she wore the mask and she was like, oh, I'm Starlight Kid. And
but then at the end, they're like, what are you going to do next? And she's like, quite frankly, I'm going to go have like a few spicy margaritas. And if you want me to be real honest, I'm going to go to the strip club. And I'm like, it's just so on brand.
She is awesome.
She's just the best.
Like, I love Tekla.
She's so believable.
Yeah.
Like her character is so believable that you want to just get behind it. Even if she's supposed to be a heel, you're like, man, I respect her a lot.
Yeah. And
with building up this character, Tekla and Monet at All In sounds really good to me.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Like that sounds like I'm in for that.
Me too.
And good for them for building something like that up. Jon Moxley and Bandito for the AEW Continental Championship. So for me, this one was good. There wasn't really a lot wrong with this match. I just don't know if it ever got to the next level when I watch this one. Jon Moxley retains over Bandito. Moxley does shake his hand afterwards. Moxley having that championship, I think, is still important for him in the story, whatever story they're going to tell here in the next couple of months with the Death Riders and Will Ospreay. I think it's important that Moxley still has that title and is still beating people clean like he did with Bandito. A couple of, I thought, decent spots in this and counters. It's a good wrestling match. Again, it just fell into this card of another good wrestling match. I'm not going to remember it at the end of the night, though.
I think that's fair. I really like this match. I'm a big Mox guy. Like Mox fits a lot of my sensibilities. So I was interested to see, because this is kind of a different environment for Bandito, a different kind of style of wrestler that he's had to face. And I thought Bandito came out very strong in this. It was one of those deals going in. I was like, Mox is probably going to retain. So I was kind of looking into this, like, okay, how's Bandito going to look coming out of this? And I thought he looked pretty strong. I thought he showed a lot more depth to his wrestling, because he has a high peak, a high level.
Yep.
But sometimes there isn't, like, and there are other wrestlers. Will Ospreay was that same way when he was coming up. He had this high, could do a lot of moves, look good doing it, but he didn't have the stuff in between to kind of really take him to that next level to be a main event wrestler. And I think Bandito needed kind of that match to really help him get to that next level instead of just being pure work rate guy. And so I thought this was a way to kind of help with that, because if there's anybody on this roster that I would want to know more of the depths and complexities of pro wrestling, Jon Moxley would absolutely be one of those guys. Yeah. So I thought this was I really like this match. It's like you, is it going to be a match that I'm going to be thinking about in a couple of months as like a match of the year? Probably not, but it worked its purpose on this card of being like a real strong match to kind of carry the card going forward.
And one of the things I really do enjoy about Bandito is that for a guy who really doesn't speak very much at all, a masked wrestler who doesn't speak English, I feel like he's very charismatic. Like, he's got he's a great wrestler, but he's got a little bit more where people can get behind him. He's got the association with Brody King and Brodito. I just feel like there's way more charisma with him than there is with some of the other just really good technical wrestlers that don't speak English, whether they're, Spanish or Mexican or Japanese or whatever they are. he's got a way of endearing himself to the crowd that others don't. And I like that about him a lot, which I think allows him to get to that next level. This was just one of those matches for me, like on the card. You're right. It was really good. There was nothing to complain about at all. Like it was a really good match. It's just when I stack it up against some of the other ones, it probably is 4th, 5th in line on this particular card. That's all. Speaking of really good matches and technical, Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. I was really looking forward to it. They brought it out second. Boy, I don't know if there's a guy in wrestling that I feel so, what's the word? Like Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world, and there were, at least one person that was over here watching the show that I was trying to explain because they don't know these people, and it's like, yeah, this might be the best technical wrestler in the world. And then when you watch him in the ring, he's just unbelievable. Like he's so smooth and great, like, and does things that other guys don't do. And I love the fact that he doesn't necessarily have a finisher and he can finish you off in so many different ways. He's not, okay, this is the way the match is definitely going to go with the last 3 moves at the end, like most wrestlers are.
Yep.
He's not that at all. I left this match feeling a couple of ways. Number one, I'm trying to put a finger on what it is that Zack Sabre Jr. could do to get him to like this. Like he's already a world-class wrestler, but to give him a little bit of charisma, to give him a little bit of personality, and how does Zack Sabre Jr. go to like that very, very next top level? Because man, he has so many great attributes. And Kenny Omega's Canadian. We know the history. He's had unbelievable matches. It looks like he can still go, but I also felt at the end he looks haggard. It's like, I still want the old Kenny Omega back, and it's not quite there for me. And that's not to take away. I thought this is a really good match. I just left this match thinking that Zack Sabre Jr. looked as good or better than Kenny Omega, even though Kenny Omega won.
Yeah, I thought that this was a solid pro wrestling match. And I mean solid in like the highest regard solid. I thought some of the transitions, like when you get to see Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle, some of the transitions out of moves, like you mentioned, just how smooth they are. It's like, oh my God, like he's a unicorn in pro wrestling because he's so different from everybody else. And like what you mentioned, the fact that he could put away opponents in many different ways, whether it be a submission or like catching you in a pinfall predicament, and some of the different ways that they're able to do that, and to get you buying into a pinfall attempt, just to like him doing the bridge on his neck and like, oh my God, that could be the pinfall.
Yes.
Like it's so like, it's so different from everybody else in pro wrestling. And again, I was talking earlier about sensibilities of pro wrestling with John Moxley. Zack Sabre Jr. fits a lot of that for me too, where it's like very technically based, very, very good ground game. And Kenny Omega, in the sense of him, I still think he's a high level performer, but it's tough with him because we've seen just how high he can go when it comes to his in-ring performances, especially in New Japan in the past, that you know that at this stage of his career, he's probably on the back nine, as they say. Yep. And I think they're trying to get the most out of him before he really starts to either retire or his role kind of diminishes in the company in terms of a placement on the card. I still think that guy is there in terms of the high level wrestler. I think I've started to accept more that peak of Omega's probably gone. And I still think that his mind, I always say this with a lot of wrestlers, their minds in terms of putting together a match is still there. Kenny's mind is still there when it comes to putting together a match.
Yep.
And I thought I came away from this being like, man, this is a pro wrestling match on this card. And I quite enjoyed it. Was this a match of the year contender? It was not, but it was still a match I enjoyed.
What do you think is even possible to get, or do you think it, like, do you ever even want to see Zack Sabre Jr. with a little bit of charisma outside the ring, like making you invested other than being the best technical wrestler in the world?
Mhm.
And what's like, how do you do that? Does he even want to do that? These are questions I don't know, because this is one of those kind of gold standard guys that you want to be platinum, but he's already incredible at what he does. So this is not a taking away from Zack Sabre Jr. It just, you look at a guy like that, and there's so many great elements that you're like, what if? What if he was able to just add a little bit to get to, quite frankly, to get to a Will Ospreay level, right? Like, I think Will Ospreay, yes, he's my favorite wrestler in the world right now, but I think he's done an incredible job at being, from transitioning from the aerial assassin to a guy that people legitimately care and want to get behind, from the hardcores to the non-hardcores and everybody else in between. Like, he relates to so many people. But that wasn't always the case, right? Like, he was the aerial assassin and do all these cool moves, and the match with Ricochet that changed all kinds of things. And like, he was known for how great he was in the ring and the aerial assassin, but he didn't have that relatability to get to the masses. I don't know if Zack Sabre Jr. wants to do that, or that they've just not been able to, whether it's New Japan or other places, be able to do that. But I would like to see it because of how gifted the guy is.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the poo-poo on the parade sort of guy.
Well, it's been the theory of
I
the
know.
common place for you in the show today. So
I know. Well, I like the show too. That's the funny thing. But I think that opportunity came when he was IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and he had a lengthy reign, but it really didn't take in Japan to the point where they're like trying to find different guys to get them to that next step, and he hasn't been IWGP champion since. I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately, because it'd be one thing if it was, because I think Zack Sabre Jr. is older than Ospreay. I think he's in his mid to late 30s. I could be wrong. But I think this is who he is. I think he's going to be somebody, like, if you were to bring him over into AEW.
38.
Yeah, he's 38. So if you were to bring him over to AEW, I don't know if he would be in that realm of an Ospreay or a Swerve or a Hangman, but he's certainly somebody that I think could be an upper mid-card guy to like a Dynamite main event sort of guy, or being a featured match.
Really? So
yeah.
So this is how you've talked previously about guys like Mike Bailey, or like, even to me, that's still where Kevin Knight is. And I know Kevin Knight's a lot younger, but guys that could come over, do a decent job, get to the upper mid tier, but not really get to the highest level. I don't feel that. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is so good. I think he's better than that, Zach. I know you say he missed, or like he couldn't get there in New Japan, which, okay, it's hard to dispute that. But just because he couldn't do it in New Japan, maybe he's learned things that he would change the next time he had a big run. And maybe that particular environment isn't the environment for him to get over. Look at Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay was the guy, whether it was, first of all in England and then coming over to the States and going to New Japan, he was still considered, like, I know he was great, but he was still considered a guy that didn't know if he could get that personality over. And he has come to the United States. He has given everything, and he's kind of learned along the way to be like that. Could Zack Sabre Jr. do the same thing in a different environment? He'd have a much better chance of doing it in a different environment than doing it in New Japan, I think. that company is not exactly hitting on all cylinders. Whether he was the champion or not, that company is nowhere near where it was even when you were going over and when Okada and Omega and Jay White and I mean even Jericho going over there and getting those couple of matches with Omega, like I mean, it's nowhere near that. So could he do it in this environment? Could he take lessons from Bryan Danielson? I'm like, what did Bryan Danielson do to get that, the masses into him as opposed to being this great indie technical wrestler? Mm-hmm. There are other examples as well of guys who are so good in the ring, but they need a little help with the push. Could that happen in an AEW? Could it happen? I don't think it could happen in WWE, but could it happen in, Mexico? Maybe. Mm-hmm. Like, look at El Grande Americano, right?
Yep.
Like, is there that much difference between, like, Ludwig Kaiser is an unbelievable wrestler. He's not as good as Zack Sabre Jr. in the ring, but he's not filled with crazy charisma. Look what he turned into. So, cool. I know we're early, Zach, and this is a wrestling show, but how about the Congo scoring 6 minutes into their match with England in the round of 32?
Whoa.
The English will...
Is it coming home, Lee? Is football coming home to England?
Lord. The Congo getting on the board early.
Oh, boy.
So, I don't know. I just think that he's probably the guy in wrestling now when I see a match like this against Omega that I would want to see in a different environment how they could get him there. And if it's possible, I think we'd all benefit from it.
Yep.
Could he get to Bryan Danielson's level? Could he get to who are other great technical wrestlers that, like even Nigel McGuinness for,
Oh, yeah, for a time, for sure, could get in that main event.
How can they get him there with a little bit of personality?
Yep. I think he's got more charisma than like a speedball Mike Bailey, and could probably do better. But the reason why I kind of look at it is I don't know, like, there's a difference between a Dean Malenko and a Bryan Danielson. You know what I mean? Like, Dean Malenko was this high-level in-ring technician. But
that's a really good comp for what Zack Sabre Jr. is right now.
Yeah. I think he's kind of in between those two guys. And I think he's more charismatic than Malenko, but I don't know if he's got the main event level. I just don't know in the States if he could translate a little bit more. Maybe it's the style, because I love the style, and I don't know if it will translate well into a main event level.
But he could also alter the style a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he's not the type of guy that he's just stuck in his ways, I don't think. And like, oh, I'm just doing this and that's it. And no one's ever going to change me. I think it's what's led him to be successful so far. And I don't know. I still think he's young enough to be able to, you look at, I don't want to compare him to Jericho, but like, Jericho's just the example of he could change his gimmick 5-6 times and do different things. And is it possible? I do think it's possible for him to do it. And what I'd really like to see, I'm making all kinds of bad comps today, so I'm going to make another one. What I'd really like to see, and I get that he's not the young buck, he's 38, he's, but putting him in a group and doing something similar to what Evolution did with Randy Orton, to me is the way to get a guy like Zack Sabre Jr. over. Put him in a faction where he is obviously the best wrestler, but he's not the best mouthpiece. Then have him kind of supersede the group and people start to gravitate towards him, even though he's not the leader. have him win a major championship, have the rest of the team be pissed about it, the rest of the team turn on him, and now he's the fan favorite with the championship. That I think he can get a lot of people behind him if you get a decent group against him. Like, it would be to me like Kyle Fletcher being in the Don Callis family, and Fletcher sort of being the star, even though they have Okada and they have Takeshita and they used to have Andrade, but Kyle Fletcher's the guy because he's the young guy, and everyone's kind of jealous of him because they know he's going to be the guy. And then Kyle Fletcher wins the championship, and the rest of the Don Callis family is like, "Hey, congratulations! Yeah, you're out."
Yeah,
I would do that with Zack Sabre Jr., and I think you could get a lot of people behind him. Just a quick idea.
Yep.
Crazy, we haven't got to the Bucks and
I know that was the opener.
Mystico and Dorada and your boy Shingo and Titan.
Yes.
I was surprised Young Bucks take this one. Just a little surprised that, this is a show that I thought was a great wrestling show, but man, CMLL and Stardom and New Japan didn't get a ton here. I know Umino won and they brought out Tanahashi, but man, the rest of the card, they didn't get a lot. And so they also didn't get a lot here as the Bucks were able to beat Lucha. I won't say his name, Zach, because I know that will trigger you, but Tanner wanted to say Lucha.
Well, look, if I'm going to get my spots in, Tanner's got to get his spots in. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Tanner and I both had Mystico and Dorada, and they didn't win. So
I think, I picked the Bucks. Another W for old Zach McGibbon here.
You had yourself a night.
I had 2 wins.
Yeah.
I had 2. This isn't, picking Leo Rush over Konosuke Takeshita, Lee.
You had more than 2 wins. You had 2 wins over the rest of us who had different, you had yourself a good night.
This is a good night for old Zach McGibbon. Look, is it going to continue? Probably not, but I am going to relish in this on a Canada Day. Feeling great.
I don't think that you should be too humble about this. Like, you need to take this to the point where you're now like the lead prognosticator. Like, you're the guy that's leading the discussion so that you can have a fall from grace. I don't need this. I don't know if it's going to continue. I had a good night. I'll hopefully get back up on the horse next time. I don't need the humble crap. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is why I'm Safety Sam, Lee. This is why I have the Safety Sam moniker. Just I'm not going to, tip the balance or anything like that. I could go around and, do the Bo Dallas
point. You
should
should be doing the Bo Dallas on this night. You were the guy.
I look, sometimes when you nail it, right? Like, and in this case,
yeah, but you got to tell us about it. That's what I'm saying. And then you got to brag about it.
I don't have the lever sage, coming on. Oh, by the way, I won the fantasy hockey pool like G did me, right? I don't have that.
Well, you didn't win it, so you obviously
no. I'm using that as a comp and a comparison. Right. You know what I mean? So
that's because
so and then I don't come on here. It's like, I told everybody on this stream, I was right, you're wrong. I'm just like, I try to do like here's a comp. I try to do the Marv Levy, business is business. We're going on to the next game. We're moving on to the next.
Martin Levy never won crap.
Never won the Super Bowl.
He always lost in the big game. Yeah,
that's right. 2 of those against our
that's right.
Our little boys in this case, Cowboys. So, I've just, this is the mentality. It's on to the next, Lee. It's on to the next. We can't relish in this. We move forward. Time waits for no man. It's time to get ready because I'm a new man, Lee. I'm the new man, and time waits for no man. And so I'm getting ready. What's the next WWE PLE? Is it the Minnesota SummerSlam show? I'm ready to nail the night 1 predictions, Lee. I'm ready. I can't wait.
Well, they do have a big Saturday night's main event coming up.
All right, Danhausen's on that card, and
Danhausen is on that card.
Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, John Cena, Danhausen, the big draws for MSG.
Well, he's got to get his Knicks jersey back. They stole his Knicks jersey on Monday Night Raw. And so he's going to have to get it back in New York, which will, it's a big pop.
I can't wait for him to curse somebody before the match. Like, well, they're going to lose. I don't know why I'm going to watch this match at this point.
Okay. So look, that's a That's a long forbidden door because I did want to get to some other things. But so overall, 5 hours. I'm anxious to hear your take on what number you're giving this card.
Yeah, I've been mulling it over, Lee. I've been thinking about it. So I really liked the Double or Nothing show. I was surprised, I guess, how low people were compared to me, because I gave that show a 9, and that was high. That's high for me.
Yeah.
But I really, really like that show. This show, I thought there was a lot of real good matches. I don't know if it reaches that 9 for me. I'm hovering between an 8 and an 8.5. So I'll be the safety Sam and I'll go 8.25. So I'll go 8.25. I thought it was a strong show. Another strong look. AEW has been doing great on pay-per-view this year once again. Like they are long, and there were points at 1 a.m. I'm like, let's just,
yeah,
people got to go to work, like tapping the watch here. I'm glad that, and we touched on it earlier, the show, that for the Redemption show, that they're moving it to 6 p.m. in terms of the start of the pre-show, and then 7 p.m. to start for the actual show,
which is great. So if they take some time off of the actual length of the show and move it back an hour, at least, if they go even 4.5, which is still an incredibly long show.
Yep.
Even if they go 4:15, it's going to be over at 11 or 11:15, which is, you can't be going to 1 a.m. Like, it's just not feasible.
You have to, at that point, you have to give me an all-time great show.
Yeah.
And to me, this was not an all-time great show.
It wasn't. The standard was very high, where sometimes you look at the average or the median, and to me, even if you thought like on a regular show that the average match was like 6.5 or 7, this one probably was like, average of 8. Like every match had something in it, where like the consistency through this was off the charts.
Yep.
But as you said, it got a little silly in the cage. And for everything that it was, it had no title changes. We didn't really talk about the Andrade face turn. Like, do you think that that's going to work, especially if, like, Andrade wants his world title shot? And I don't know how they're going to get that in with everything that they're going to be doing over the next little bit. So I don't know what they're going to do with Andrade, but it had a turn of a major star. It had a return of a major star, a turn and a return.
Yep.
Like that with Jay White and Andrade. It did have the finals setting it up, but it didn't have any title changes. Not really even a threat of a title change. And it didn't have the world title being defended. It had like a stake in it with, the ramifications of the cage match, but it didn't have a world title match. So it had one of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen in Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. So for me, that kind of gets it right up to the top. But I believe I went 9.25 on the Revolution show. That's, I think, my top.
Yep. You were very high, especially, and I was high on that opening stretch. I thought it fell at the end, but you were very high on that Revolution show.
I was very high. So I kind of put it up to that. Was it better than the Revolution show? No, but it had amazing consistency, and I just wish people had saw the last match not 4 hours and 20 minutes into the show. Like, I just wish you could take that match and do some other things with it. So I'm going to give it a 9.
Ooh, all right.
Like, this is a tremendous show. The consistency was so good. And when it has, to me, a match of the year and one of the best matches I've ever seen, it's got to be up there. But to me, it still wasn't better than the Revolution show. So I am going to give it a 9. And like we said, Zach, when tonight for Dynamite, and people might be listening, after the, what do you think happens tonight?
It's a great question. I mean, you got the Andrade thing still lingering. You still have to set something up for Wembley. Man, it really could go a bunch different ways.
So
I'm going to say
MJF in the world title match does happen tonight.
That's yes. Right. Yeah. So I think MJF's going to retain the title. I'm going to say that I have a feeling they're going to prolong this a little bit before we really get an idea of what the match is going to be, because they have been trying to build this Andrade stuff too in between. So I feel like that's going to be another in between thing on a Dynamite that MJF is going to do, which I know you don't like, and I'm not 100% on it either.
Well, July 1st, July 26th is the pay-per-view in Montreal. You have 25 days, and you're telling me that they're going to do Briscoe and Andrade before they do Omega?
Potentially.
Holy man.
Hey, I mean, Darby Allin's reign had a title defense every single week, so.
I know, but did that lead to a pay-per-view? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it led to him defending the belt against MJF at the pay-per-view, I guess, but.
Okay. I just don't know that was the idea of like leading to a pay-per-view with like Darby Allin. You think back on it, it was like, no, he defended it every Dynamite, every Collision, every chance he got, he was wrestling somebody else, and the amount of people he went through in a 2-month stretch. That's what I remember. I don't remember like a storyline leading to the pay-per-view where Darby Allin lost the title.
Right.
So to be able to do this without kind of over complicating it, I'd like to see a story built towards redemption, because we're only 25 days away. I can't see Briscoe winning the title tonight.
Oh, he's not winning the title tonight. I'd be stunned if that happens.
I would too. Is Andrade involved in this? I don't know. I do think they need to set something up where Omega becomes the hero real quick, and they set up this match so people can get excited that Kenny Omega is going to get a world title match in his home country.
Yep.
Coming up in Montreal. They better do it soon. So I need to see it tonight.
There needs to be some sort of match announced at Wembley at this point.
Yeah.
Because Wembley's end of August. We're in July now. It's like, got to get something. And it's been hovering around the tickets, Wembley, at like 25,000. So
yeah, they haven't moved a ton after the initial surge.
Right. So it's like they need something to sink their teeth into.
So what is that? Because Ospreay's going to get the world title match, but I'm not sure that they're going to announce who he's going to be facing anytime soon.
Yep.
So if they're not going to announce that, what is it that they're going to announce that's going to intrigue people at Wembley?
Right. The only other thing I would think of is maybe you just announce Mercedes and Tekla now at this point, but you have the pay-per-view in between. That's the issue. And like,
yep.
Like if there was no redemption pay-per-view in between, I'd be starting to announce stuff now at this point. But
interesting for sure. Okay, I did mention that I wanted to talk a little bit about that the WWE Night of Champions, they kind of went all in on Obafemi. And
yes, we even had a YouTube short that's available now talking about that.
That they did it properly.
Yep.
And they didn't screw it up.
Yep.
Obafemi should win King of the Ring. He should get the title shot at SummerSlam, and they didn't screw it up. And then on Monday Night Raw, as he went out there to announce who he was going to face for the world title, he gets interrupted by Brock Lesnar. He gets attacked by Brock Lesnar. And then finds Adam Pearce in the back and says, Zach, the title will always be there, but this needs to happen now. Set up Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell for SummerSlam, which is a hell of a match. Hell in a Cell with those two guys in it. Okay, yep. I want to see it. But did they go overboard in pushing the title back to a secondary position? We're saying the titles, yeah, they're always going to be there. So we had this whole tournament to decide the person who's going to get a shot at the title, and then I'm just going to forego that opportunity because I want Brock Lesnar does not make the title look very strong.
Yeah. Titles. Neither the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship.
Especially that Sami Zayn just won it. I think some people, like, I look at it like, oh my God, Sami Zayn won the title. That's amazing. Like I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. But some people don't think Sami Zayn's like a worthy world heavyweight champion. And then you do something else to diminish the title, like right afterwards. You're like, what are you doing? So I did not like this move. You?
Yeah, I saw that at first when they were doing the Hell in a Cell. I was thinking, oh, there's that 2-night theory that comes in. Hell in a Cell seems a little bit heavy for him to do, but if you're going to put over a guy, this is a way to put over a guy. Then they did that segment with Adam Pearce. Is like, oh no, guys, why? We just put out a YouTube short saying, you know what? At least they're focused on somebody and they're locked in. And it's like, oh, like I agree with you in terms of a match between Brock and Obafemi at Hell in a Cell is very intriguing to me because I don't think we've seen Brock in that sort of environment at Hell in a Cell in a while. Nothing that comes to mind. And having Obafemi in there, I think that's going to do wonders for him. But forgoing the title shot just makes the titles look irrelevant. It's like, I know, so they're always going to be there, right? The titles are always going to be there. It's like it just goes against my core philosophy of like the title should be like this all encompassing, like everybody should be good. Like, say what you want about the AEW stuff about like Andrade and Briscoe and Will Ospreay is now in the mix, but at least it gives off the impression of so many people want to go after this world championship, right? Everybody's trying to gun for it. The champion's got all these different competitors that he's looking at and it's got to face off against. Yep. This just makes it like, oh, wait, I got to face off against Brock Lesnar, guy who shows up, a little bit more this year, but, doesn't show up a lot during the year. So I hated it. I saw that. I'm like, really? We had this whole tournament, had to watch Jey Uso rise up through the ranks, go through the finals of this thing. I was like, all right, but it's all part of the plan to try and get Obafemi more over. And that's the result that comes out of it, is that not getting this title match at SummerSlam.
So here's what we know as we sit here on a Wednesday. We know that Sami Zayn is the champion. We know that we're going to get Hell in a Cell, Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. We also know that they taped an episode of SmackDown because of the July 4th weekend, and they had a number one contenders match for Sami Zayn's title between Cody Rhodes and main event Jey Uso. And Cody Rhodes pinned Jey Uso in that match, and it does look like Cody Rhodes will face Sami Zayn for the title next week on SmackDown. So a couple of theories here. Number one, are they really just going to put it back on Cody Rhodes and have, at that point, like an 8-day reign for Sami Zayn as the WWE champion? Mm-hmm. I think it's possible. Now, does that bring intrigue for me to watch it? Sure. But putting it back on Cody seems very deflating to me after they just did this. Also, with the Saturday night's main event at Madison Square Garden, I still think the scenario that I put out before of Obafemi being the 2-night guy, what if Brock Lesnar came out and squashed Sami Zayn and won the title, and now Obafemi's gonna have to go into the Hell in the Cell, and what if he beats him for the title at SummerSlam with Brock Lesnar holding the title? I think both of those ones are possible, which really deflates me again as a fan, going, the least likely thing to me is that Sami Zayn holds on to the title and gets to SummerSlam. So what do you think they're going to do? Is Cody Rhodes, first of all, I'll ask you, do you think he wins it next week back from Sami Zayn on SmackDown?
Yes, I do. Lee, they took away the title shot that they spent a whole month or two building up on TV, leading up to a pay-per-view PLE tournament final where he wins, is like and getting ready for his title shot, and then they just said, no, actually no title shot. I want to face off against Brock. That can wait. They could absolutely do 8-day title reign for Sami Zayn. Cody Rhodes comes in and wins. And oh, by the way, CM Punk will come back. And that's our real program. We're going to do Cody versus Punk.
Which I think we've always thought was going to be the case, that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were going to do this, right?
Yep. Is anybody going to say why Punk's gone? Can we still haven't gotten a resolution on that?
Nope.
We were just told to keep quiet, and just like, oh, don't look into it. It's like, well, clearly something happened, or somebody say something. Like, I know Punk loves to talk and tell people what's going on. Like, if nothing was going on, Punk would be going out there right now and saying nothing's going on. I'm just taking a break. I thought I was not going on vacation, but I ended up going on vacation. Something.
He looks terrible for going back on TV right after WrestleMania and saying, I'm not going anywhere for the summer, and then being gone.
Yeah. Like, where is he? We're now in July. Where has he been? Will somebody say something? Because there's all this rumor stuff, and then it got shut down. It's like, well, it's not that. Well, then what is it? Like,
I agree. Why can't you just tell the truth?
Right? Just tell us. Like, what's going to, like, if he's battling an injury, then okay, like, tell us. So
I feel like he's on vacation right now with AJ Lee, and they're putting all kinds of pictures out from their vacation.
Yeah.
It's like,
see, guys.
Doesn't look really hurt to me, but who knows?
Yeah.
If you're really hurt, wouldn't you just say so? I'm hurt, but I'll be back.
Yeah. The silence is deafening, right? Like, it's just say something.
And you feel like they're never going to tell us the truth. That's the most frustrating part.
And then they'll do the whole routine of, like, there'll be a report out there. It's like, oh, the dirt sheets don't know. Well, then tell us. Like, you don't get that benefit, right? Like, you don't get that benefit. Like, they're wrong, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. So this is what bugs me, not only about Punk and not only about the world of professional wrestling, but it really bothers me about, like, in general. And look, we come from media backgrounds, right? You and I, and we've been in it for a very, very long time. Like, how long you been in it?
Now getting close to 10 years, Lee, but I've been now in the media sphere officially for 8 years.
Right. And officially, I guess if you wanted to go back to the start of this, we're looking at like over 30 years experience here, you and I, which is a decent number.
It's quite a lot when you put it in that perspective.
Right? You and I have more than 30 years experience in the media business. Nothing bothers me more than people trying to, whether it's organizations, whether it's companies, saying, you guys are not allowed to speculate, but we're not going to tell you. The world of media is, and what should be happening is journalistic integrity, trying to get to the bottom of why it actually is. But sometimes you can't, because they give you no information. There's no information to be found because nobody is saying anything, and it's not possible.
Yep.
But if you don't want people to speculate and maybe get it wrong, then you have to come out and do something to prevent that. If you're going to, like you said, have the silence be deafening, but then sit at the top of the mountain and yell and scream that people are speculating and maybe speculating wrong, well, there's a really, really easy way to fix that. But you don't want to do it. As a company, as an organization, whoever you are, you want to control the narrative, and you want it to be the story that you want to put out. And how dare somebody say something else, but you're not going to actually tell them anything. You're not going to actually give them any facts whatsoever. You're either going to fib about it or you're not going to say anything. But then when people do speculate, you're going to get mad at them.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, not here. Not on OSN.
Nope.
Not on This Is Wrestling. Not on... You can get mad all you want that we're going to speculate, and we're not going to try and... I can tell you that the good journalists don't try to do something for the clicks. We're not going to do or say something or speculate about anything when it comes to the world of sports, the world of wrestling, whatever it is. just to get people to click, even though we know it's not right.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. But it's okay to speculate based on what you think is possible because you've done your homework on it and you actually don't know the facts because you can't get to the facts. You're still allowed to say something. And if the other people don't like it, well, there's a really, really easy way to fix it. And that's just come out and tell us what's going on. So with the Punk thing, you don't want people to speculate? No problem. Why don't you come out and actually tell the truth to where he is? Because when you put him on TV and said he's not going anywhere for the summer and then we haven't seen him since, there is a disconnect there.
Yeah. And especially with your Punk and you have a history of this stuff, of backstage incidents, and if you feel like you're something wrong and there's nothing to it, I would be screaming at the hilltop saying, look, no, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm gone for something. So anyway. I just saw this too.
The wrestling show. Tanner says Steve Stais starts free agency by signing the goaltender that just acquired Erison to 2 years to $2.2 million. His qualifying offer was 1.6. Lee, we might need to stream again later.
Yeah, I saw that deal too.
Like, seems like an overpayment for a guy that you didn't have to do that with because what kind of demand was he in? When he came here, everyone's like, oh, that guy stinks. And you gave a 5th round pick for him. Yeah. 6th round pick, 5th round pick. I can't remember, but a late round pick. But you still gave up something to go get him.
Yeah.
And then you gave him, pretty good money, over $1 million combined in 2 years. Like $1.2 million more over the course of the contract than his qualifying offer. And why did you give him that much money? I don't know.
Tanner read that apparently the coaches, like there are certain goalie coaches that are high on him and they really like to work with him. So
statistically the worst goalie in the NHL the last few years. Yeah. Well, if I'm a coach, lots to work on. So I would like to work with somebody too that has so many things that I could teach them.
Yep.
If I were a coach. It's not like somebody that's already made. It's like, no, I got a lot of work to do with this guy. Don't forget who the Sens goalie coach now is. A really great friend of Linus Ullmark.
Yep.
But they do bring in another Swede. So, yes, maybe we will have to stream a little bit later, depending. I can tell you I'm not going to lead a stream after a 2-hour and 17-minute This Is Wrestling show based on Erison's contract and qualifying offer, but it does lead to the fact that we might have to get in on some of the other ones. I'm just scrolling through, Zach.
Yep.
And like, just even so far, it's like, oh, what's happening? Jaden Schwartz has signed a 3-year contract. Yeah, I don't care. John Carlson, unable to reach a deal. So is he going to market? Yeah, I really don't care. The Leafs are talking with Colton Sissons, but there's no deal. Yeah, I don't care. The Kings signed Holla and Zuccarello and Gustafson. Like,
they also just signed Corey Perry. So get fired up.
This is free agency day now, right? Like, yep. But yes, for what the Senators might or might not do, we probably will stream a little bit later. Yeah, just to put a bow on what happens throughout the day. So, and as Tanner said, yes, extensions have been the bigger news. I give Tanner credit; he's been with us like most of the show.
Yes.
So on Canada Day, so he's chomping at the bit to get in himself. So we'll have to do something a little bit later, and we will do that. But we got AEW Dynamite tonight. If you're listening live, we're going to listen to this soon, and after that, Zach, like you said, it's a huge month in pro wrestling because you got AEW Redemption on the 26th of July at the Bell Center, and we're all going to be going. We have Dark Side of the Ring. When does that start? If you could just get that, and I'll talk for a second, because I can also say that July 21st it is season 3 of WWE Unreal, and we're going to get the back into like the John Cena retirement. We're going to get behind the scenes, and we're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that Zach's going to be really mad about, which is going to be awesome. And because it's a show to tell us what's happening behind the scenes, but they won't tell us 95% of what happens behind the scenes, but then they'll tell us the 5% that they want to and say, hey, this is real, man. We do also have, which I think is exciting for wrestling fans. So starting on Wednesday is going to be a night on TSN to watch a lot of pro wrestling, because on Wednesday, July the 15th, so coming up in 2 weeks today, yes, it's on at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, but Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling MLP Mayhem starts across the TSN network on TSN2, which I think is really exciting. And especially it makes Wednesdays on TSN a destination to go. That AEW Dynamite's going to be on, and then MLP Mayhem is going to be on, which, you know, from a Canadian perspective, you're going to have a little bit more. You're going to get to see some independent guys that we know. We're going to, you know, they will have some stars on the show, and I'm looking forward to how they present this. And the fact that it's going to be on TSN weekly means they're going to be presenting it, you know, decently.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so MLP Mayhem starts Wednesday, July 15th. We said Unreal Season 3 Wednesday, or on July 21st. And then on the 26th, AEW Redemption. And Dark Side of the Ring starts when?
Dark Side of the Ring is on July 7th. It'll be the 2 parts of the TNA doc, and then the 3rd part the next week. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Pretty big month in the month of July.
A lot happening
between all of that stuff. Tanner updating us. Snowbirds just flew by. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Not out here at the Palatial Estates, but what a storm last night we had. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did in Barhaven and Ottawa too, but not down in beautiful Belleville. That never happened.
No. Close to the base at beautiful Trenton, Lee. So you never know. So
Steos presser around 3 p.m. if we want to do a show later. There you go. Be anxiously looking forward to why they signed Harrison to 2.2. But even more importantly, in the sports world, Zach, it is still, I think they're getting close. If it's on at halftime already, it's like right there. And it is 1-0 Congo over England.
Wow.
And they are going to be some very nervous Englishmen and women. I mean, losing in the round of 32 to the Congo would not.
Canada gets into the round of 16 ahead of Germany, which was my team, and now they're eliminated, and England would be wild.
Again, this is the second time that Tanner's put something in the chat. He's not getting over for this.
He's not going to get the pop from it.
No, he's absolutely not. This game is not over. I think if he had his last $20 on him ever, he wouldn't be talking about this, because he would be still putting it on England. So
I was going to say, was Tanner even aware that Congo and England was on today?
Forced to pick that with the very, very, very last pick of the draft, probably. So I'm not putting them over for this. In fact, I feel like I just did. But okay, so lots to get to, and so a huge month on This Is Wrestling, and a massive month on OSN as well. For can the Ottawa Redblacks get in the win column? We'll see what the Senators do. We might even have a live show later today, depending on what happens there. And, with free agency as we go into the summer, there's just so much going on. So appreciate your time on Canada Day, Zach. Always fun. 2 hour and 24-minute show.
That's right.
On Canada Day, because that's
what we do.
Yeah, and I can't believe I didn't bring it up. Was it POC?
Oh yes, I'm glad you
on AEW.
That's what we do.
What we do. I'm like,
I said the same thing. I didn't even think of that. Yes. I said the same thing during the show. I was like, oh my God, get Paul out of here. Get him out. Don't have him backstage.
Do you think he meant to do it?
Oh, I don't think, not at all. I think he's just like, I'm Pac. I gotta look tough. And Pac doesn't strike me as a guy that's watching, like, and I mean this in a good way, where he's watching everything else. He's like, I'm here and I'm doing my thing. And
it popped me.
I'm glad I was the only one that caught that. Yes, I was also thinking that too.
That's why we do what we do. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
Paul Levesque is backstage. Get him out of there. He's giving advice on promos. We don't need it. I could just imagine going to, hey, you're Pac, right? So you're big, and so you want to look big, and you tell him that's what we do around here. Like him trying to give advice in the promo.
Oh my God.
Get Paul Levesque out of here.
Hilarious. Okay, that's gonna do it for us. And on This Is OSN, you can find us on YouTube. We'll have lots of sports coverage from the Ottawa area and beyond, and tons as we just went over. Imagine if we do individual episodes for Dark Side of the Ring, Unreal, possibly Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
this is going to be a lot of content on This Is Wrestling.
You got to be plugged in if you're listening. Get subscribed.
That's right.
There's a lot coming your way, so looking forward to this July.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton and a scorcher for people.
Yes.
Make sure that you are prepared. All right. Thanks, Zach, very much. So for Zach McGibbon, I'm Lever Sage. This has been another edition of This Is Wrestling.